Ruth. Happy birthday, Babe Ruth. All right. Happy birthday, Babe Ruth.
Happy birthday, Babe Ruth.
Three-point spread, and we'll close your ears. I think Illinois is probably going to take this.
So we've had a negative Bordick, a negative Kavanaugh.
I'm a realist. Hopefully I'm proving wrong tonight. Big rare game. If they can win this, take over sole place, first place in the Big Ten.
You know what I mean. Thank you, Keith. All right, buddy. Thank you for being here. All right, let's see if we can do better. Next VIP, a guy who has followed in the footsteps of a guy who serves on the board of the Babe Ruth Museum, Bernie Walter. Bernie resurrected the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame. And then he turned it over to a guy who has taken it to greater heights, Steve Doherty. And I will tell you what, last November, the Hall of Fame banquet drew almost 500 people. And Steve Doherty is to be congratulated. Steve, come on up and say hi, baby. He really didn't want to be up here. He's scared to death of Mike Bordick. I don't understand that. Don't get it. Next up, a guy who's been covering the Orioles full-time since 2011. First with Comcast Sportsnet, then he went to Pretz Box, and now he is with his own gig, BaltimoreBaseball.com. A very talented guy, talented writer. Please welcome Rich Duboff. Rich? Can we get it on here? It's a tough one. Our next two guests, get ready. They both wore number 25 for the University of Maryland men's basketball team, a father and son combo. First, the guy, star forward for Lefty Brazil, set the single game scoring mark, 44 points. Let's say hi to Ernie Graham. Ready? Here it comes. This is pretty wild, isn't it? And then, the sequel, number 25, who came in to play for Turge, starting in 2013, Ernie Graham's son, another forward. Let's say hi to John Graham. Johnny? So when we do Terps Talk, first panel discussion after this, these guys will be back there talking Terrapin basketball. I hope one of you will predict the Maryland win tonight, unlike Mr. Keith. I understand. All right, is Brett here? Yes. Holy cow, all right. Now this next guy, I first met him, he interned at Sports Legends. Wow, pretty cool. I knew his daddy. He came over and sold memberships for us in the train car booth. But then he went on to a career in media, and now has his own show on WBAL radio, and is a diehard Baltimore sports fan like nobody else. Let's say hi to Brett Hollandwood. Good to see you, Tim.
Hello, this is John Carrington, and this is Eye on Baltimore. And we're here at Game Sports Baltimore for the Babe Ruth birthday bash. And we're having a great time, and guess who I bumped into? One of the Ruth family members. We have here the great-grand-niece of Babe Ruth. She is the Babe Ruth's sister's daughter's daughter. And her name is Jane McAmee. Jane, when did you first see the babe?
I have absolutely no recall of that. I was probably about 4. And when Uncle Babe would come to Baltimore, he always stopped by to see his sister Mamie. And and of course, Mother and the family would gather when he came. But Babe wasn't as big then as he is now. So it's really a wonderful experience to find, that he's so loved.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we have a lot of action here today because this is Game Sports Baltimore, and we're getting ready for the big Babe Ruth bash, and the staff is trying to get things set up. So just kind of work along with us on this. I heard he was very generous. Did you at Christmas time get generous gifts?
I have no idea. I may have. But he was very generous in terms of children. He was enamored with children, and I think that that's because of his life growing up. And it was just, what he did for children. He never hesitated to address any child who wanted his attention.
Right, and this is his birthday bash. Now, he would be approximately 120 years old if he was here today.
Yes. I'm not quite that old.
No, you're young. You're only 21.
Oh, thank you.
Thank goodness you watched all those
I'll
old
do your
movies.
radio show.
What is the funniest moment you and your family have had in being a part of the Babe Ruth legend?
Well, the first book to come out suggesting that Uncle Babe had
All right, now the relationship with you and the Babe, explain that for us.
My mother's mother was Mamie Ruth Moberly, and my mother and myself, and I have a daughter in Hagerstown, Maryland, April, and she has two daughters, Bethany and Maria. So, and we are the last of the bloodline.
So you're Babe's great niece.
I am.
How is living under the limelight of being related to Babe Ruth?
Well, we had no idea. My grandmother had no idea it would be so big. My mother had no idea it would be so big. And I had no idea that I would be in the limelight representing the Ruth family. And it's wonderful because he left a tremendous legacy.
All right, well, is there any piece of memorabilia that you have from the Babe that you...
Not from the Babe, but from my grandmother.
Oh.
Anytime anybody asked her about him, he was just a mischievous boy. And he never did, according to my grandmother, he never did anything wrong. He was never in trouble. And et cetera, for that.
All right. Well, do you have any closing thoughts for us before the party starts?
Yes. May his legacy and his, I'm sure that the sports people are very anxious about his scores, but may his legacy of giving and his care for children continue.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Jan, for being a part of this Eye on Baltimore at Babe Ruth Birthday Bash. Hey, everybody, we'll be right back.
Thank you.
One of the great feats in the history of the World Series. Listen in as the Babe himself recalls that epic moment.
Well, I stepped out of the box, and by that time there were over straight. Well, I looked out to center field and I saw it. I found that the next pitch ball right past the plate. Well, good Lord.
As we watch him circle the bases, there is no question that he knows he has accomplished something extraordinary. The longest home run in Wrigley Field history, stroked with a vengeance. And still, the question lingers, did he or didn't he? Visit the Babe Ruth Museum and Birthplace and learn more about the greatest baseball player ever. I'm John Miller. Enjoy your tour.
Hey, welcome to Eye on Baltimore. I'm John Carrington. My special guest right now here at the Babe Ruth Birthday Bash celebration is Scott McGregor, Oriole pitcher. Great, won that final game of the World Series that we won. Oh my goodness. Thank you, sir.
It's great to be here.
What is your greatest memory of that game?
Well, I guess the greatest memory of the game was that they got a lot of runs early.
So you had to shut them down, huh?
Yeah, well, Eddie Murray hitting the 2 bombs and Dempsey hitting a home run, and I just think that the whole atmosphere of that game was after '79 and we were up 3-1. It was a little different atmosphere. Guys were really ready to go. It was a relaxed team, but a determined team, and so it was just great to be there.
All right, we know how the Babe got to Baltimore. He was born here.
Yeah, right.
How did you get to Baltimore?
Well, we got traded. Signed with the Yankees out of high school in '72, and was in Syracuse on the trade deadline, June 15th, back in '76. Bobby Cox was the manager then of the Syracuse Chiefs, AAA Yankees, and came up to me during the game and said, "Don't be surprised if you're traded before the night's over." And sure enough, after the game, he called me to his room, said, "You've been traded to the Orioles." Tippy and Dempsey and myself, and Bobby was so mad, he said, I'm going to quit. They're trading away all my kids, But got over here, and the door opened. Mr. Cuellar was at the end of his career, and so he was done after that season, which allowed me to make the team, and the rest was history.
You worked with Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson. Give us a story, something between you and those other Oriole greats.
Well, I played all the Oriole Hall of Famers. I either played with or under. I was under Earl Weaver. Frank was a coach and then manager. Well, Frank was the manager when I got released, so I'm not fond of that memory. But played with Cal, played with Eddie, played with Brooks. It was a pretty special group, and
All right, well, teamwork makes the dream work. What advice do you have for baseball players who are in high school and college right now?
Well, Jim Palmer told me when I first came over here, he goes, "You want to be the best?" I go, "Well, I mean, you're here. I don't know if I can be the best, but he goes, "No, you want to be the best?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Then you got to work harder than the rest, and you have to be determined. You have to have the love for it." I grew up in Southern Cal, and my dad said I threw the bottle before I drank it. I just had natural ability, but I was out in the backyard. We had a mound, and everybody in town that knew anything about pitching was there. People used to say, "Oh, your dad pushed you," and I go, "No, he didn't. He didn't have to push me out there." So you got to love it. You got to want to be out there. It's got to be the love of your heart, and if it is, then you put yourself. Obviously nowadays, with the way computers are and videos and teachers, you can make the best of yourself. So it just takes a lot of determination and real love for the game.
Now, I remember the old days. Players did what they had to do by playing their sport. Now they have this weightlifting and all this special training. What's your reaction, your reflection on that?
Well, I think obviously that's the way of the world. That's the way it's evolved. But all I know is we ran, and we ran, and we ran, and we ran, and we threw, and we threw. And we didn't have weights, and we didn't have injuries. We didn't have Tommy Johns a bunch. We didn't have rotor cuffs blowing up. And we pitched 200 plus, 300 innings a year. So I think nowadays with the emphasis on all this, money turns the table. When you see guys making hundreds of millions of dollars to play the game, and they're going to go out there and they're going to play all these travel teams, all these showcases. And we didn't do that. We played Little League, pitched once a week, played Babe Ruth, pitched once a week. And then to me, it's like I was 18 when I signed. And you take that 18-year-old arm in '72 compared to an 18-year-old arm now, and it's like mine was 18, this one's 25. They put so much more wear and tear, and plus velocity. The emphasis on velocity was never there like that. We just pitched. Obviously we had some velocity, or probably wouldn't have been there, but that was just a natural thing. So it was just, I think there's just a lot of overemphasis.
Okay. Well, I want to take a little break here and thank you, Scott McGregor, for being a part of Eye on Baltimore. Oh, by the way, before we go, we need to say happy birthday to Babe Ruth. On the count of three, can we say that?
Sure.
Right. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Babe Ruth! Yay! Eye on Baltimore. We'll be right back.
Baltimore went to Park School and kind of became a major blip on the professional tennis circuit. Rising as high as number 42, he played at Wimbledon, had a great pro career, and then he probably did even better by coaching at Gilman, where he has won 6 consecutive MIAA tennis titles. Let's say hi to Steve Krulovic. Stevie? He didn't bring his tennis racket with him. I'm not sure why. We're getting there, kids. All right, next guy up. I don't think he needs an introduction. He started for the great Earl Weaver teams in the 1970s and 80s. And by the way, Earl Weaver's only championship ring, 1970 World Series, is on display in the room where the panel discussions are going to be, along with Len Bias's warm-up jersey and some other really cool stuff. This guy was the winning pitcher when the Orioles captured their last World Series in 1983. Please welcome number 16, Scotty McGregor. Now these guys are all staying up here. You get your photo opportunity when I get off the stage, so stand by for a second.
Welcome back to Eye on Baltimore. We have some wonderful guests here at the birthday bash for the Babe. I have here Tara. Tara, tell us what you do.
Hi, I book events here at Game Baltimore since May 2015, and we're happy to welcome back this event. This is the second year, and I believe Babe would be 125 today. We're so excited to welcome them back.
All right, and of course we have our other guest here. As you can see, she's a mixed martial artist, and she fights. And oh, I don't know. Okay, tell us who you are. Who are you?
Yeah, I'm Cindy. I'm actually the owner's sister-in-law. I just came on board here a little less than a year ago. Okay. So I'm real excited to be a part of this.
Oh, and you are in a working operation that has great food. I enjoyed the cuisine, the friendliness of the staff. You're in a good place.
Yes, I am.
And this is the birthday bash. This is your first time working with an event here?
Yes. Yep, I actually work along with Tara, coordinating, and I do all kinds of stuff here, so I'm real excited to be a part of this today. So.
Let's tip what's going to happen tonight. Talk to us, Tara.
Me too. So back here in the banquet room, they're going to have a panel discussion where they interview celebrities and special guests back here, and the guests can ask questions as well. In the front game room, they're going to have some awards, I believe, some presentations. Of course, there's a silent auction as well. Like, as you mentioned, delicious food and beverages, and there's going to be plenty of guest speakers too.
All right, and of course, the boss's niece is here.
Absolutely.
You write anybody up today?
I'm actually going to be walking around making sure everybody has everything that they need and they're comfortable and they're having a great time. So I'll be out there mingling with everybody. So I'm real excited about that.
How can people get in touch with Game Sports Baltimore to book their events?
They would call 443-354-0046 and ask for Tara, and I'll take care of it.
All right. Okay, on the count of three, can we all say happy birthday, babe? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, babe! Eye on Baltimore. And we're going to be right back with more birthday bash action.
it shows the transaction. It
Wow.
shows Boston sells George H. Ruth to New York. And it's one of 3 that exist.
Hey, welcome back to Eye on Baltimore. I'm John Carrington, and I have with me Sean Hermy. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Herm. Sean Herm, and he's the executive director of the Babe Ruth Museum.
Indeed.
All right, tell us about what's going on tonight.
Well, tonight's a special night. It's the 125th birthday anniversary. It's the 125th birthday of Babe Ruth. This is an event we hold every year. It's a big deal for us, and we're excited to be here. We've got some great celebrities. It's going to be a good time. And honestly, I think Babe would love this venue. I think he'd have a lot of fun if he was here.
125 years old. My goodness. The Babe left us a legacy. What is the most memorable part of his legend that most people will talk to you about at the museum?
Well, you know, it's interesting because there's so many different types, personality traits of the Babe. And there's parts that we know, you know, his baseball records are some of the best in the world. But he was an incredible person in terms of kids. Loved children, did a whole bunch of things for kids. We forget that. And of course, he's from Baltimore. He's the boy from Baltimore.
Amen.
And he represents baseball. He represents America. He represents the Roaring 20s. He's what's good about America. He's the American dream. He's the kid from the streets that made it big.
Fantastic talent too. I know he was a pitcher, a hitter, and also just an all-around great athlete.
Absolutely, and everything. He was as good a golfer as he was a baseball player. Loved the game of golf. Played it every single day after he retired from baseball.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I mean, talent. Now, did any of his family members follow in his footsteps as far as sports and baseball goes?
Well, he had 2 children, 2 adopted daughters. So his daughters obviously didn't play a lot of sports. There weren't a lot of sports in the 1930s and 1940s at that time. But you know, he's got a great family. He was a wonderful family man. Loved both of his kids. Loved his grandchildren. And as I said, just loved kids in general. So no, unfortunately, you know, we haven't seen anyone with the Ruthian talent on the field. Not just from the family. I don't think we've ever seen anyone with Ruthian talent quite like his ever since.
All right, well, talk to us about the plans for the future of the Babe Ruth Museum.
Well, the Babe Ruth Museum is also the official museum of the Baltimore Orioles and also the official archive of the Baltimore Colts. So we've inherited Maryland's sports history, Baltimore sports history, and it's our job to perpetuate that. So we're going to be doing some new exhibits. We're going to be doing some new celebrations. This is a big year. It's the 50th anniversary of the Orioles winning the World Series in 1970. And it's also the 50th anniversary of the Colts season that led to the 1971 Super Bowl V, which the Colts won. So this is a big year for anniversaries. It's also the 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues. It's also the 100th anniversary of Babe Ruth being sold to the Yankees. So in terms of sports, there's a lot of celebrating that we're going to be doing and a lot of programming that you'll see going along with that.
All right, now there's a curse that the Red Sox were under because they happened to let the Babe go. Talk about that for a moment, because that's...
Well, you know, the Red Sox needed money. The owner of the Red Sox needed money. He sold Babe Ruth. He didn't trade. People thought it was a trade. It was not. He sold him outright to the Yankees for an astonishing amount of money during those days. And after that, the Red Sox never won another World Series. So everyone believed it was the curse of the Bambino because, of course, the Yankees then went on to win World Series after World Series after World Series. And it would be 80-some years before the Red Sox would do it again, finally breaking the curse. And this is a cute story. For years, Red Sox fans would come to the Babe Ruth birthplace, and on our steps, they would leave hot dogs, they would leave beer, they would leave cigars, they would do anything to try to break that curse of the Bambino.
All right, there you go. Baltimore influence in places and parts unknown. We love it.
Last thoughts.
Okay, you have any final thoughts for us before the big birthday bash starts here at the Baltimore Games Baltimore?
Yeah. Birthday bash is, you know, it is a fun night, but it is a reminder to us that we have so much to celebrate in Maryland. Maryland is a small state, but is a unique state, is a powerhouse state when it comes to sports. We have a lot to be proud of. You know, we hope the Orioles are going to have a much better season this year. The Ravens almost gave us a fantastic, perfect season. They can do it again next year. We have a lot of talent out there, Lamar Jackson and others. So I think it's a great time. And for us, this is always the kickoff of the next sports season. So we go into baseball, right into football. I think it's going to be a great year.
All right, well, thank you, Sean. And let's give a big happy birthday to the Babe. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Babe! Eye on Baltimore.
Now, a very famous guest who is on some kind of a consecutive appearances at the Bash record. She's been coming here since she was a kid and continues to come back to the delight of all of us. In 2006, she won the World Figure Skating Championship. That's right. We got the applause starting already. She was a member, the youngest member that year of the U.S. Winter Olympic team. And she had a great career. 2014, she was inducted into the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame, and just a few weeks ago was inducted into the National Figure Skating Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Peggy Meisner. So, you don't have a program tonight, so can you tell us how it feels to join that Hall of Fame?
It feels pretty incredible, just really very full circle for me. I think, as I was saying in my speech at the Hall of Fame a few weeks ago, 10 years ago I was completely the opposite of where I am now. I kind of gave up on skating, was like, didn't want anything to do with it. And then 10 years later, I found myself back in the sport and somehow getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. So it feels good.
Thank you, Mindy. She's been a great ambassador to the state, to the city, and what a thrill it is for us to have her here tonight.